Cartoons.
And more, you might adopt it. Big and most of
everybody, today we are going to reacting to top 10 surprising facts about Jaws. So anyways, let us know when you see this. So, let's begin.
We've got a panic on our hands on the 4th of July.
Welcome to Watch Mojo.
Hey, look at me! I'm a woman's world style, just like Simon.
The shark is working.
Steven Spielberg was just 28 when it came out.
I'm gonna get my ass and go back out in the water.
Let me see your fingers. Alex, Kintner, they're beginning to croon.
For a movie of such scope and with filmmaking
Steven
of such
Spielberg.
material,
Still wondered it's
it's
supposed to be like in the Shark Week films, you know? I'm a very impressive person on that.
Done some TV and a couple of small films, attracting the attention of Universal, who offered him their new shark movie. Spielberg was a competent director, but woefully inexperienced for a film of this breadth and scale. This was sink or swim for the young director. His first real leap into the deep end. Water puns aside, Jaws was a real trial by fire and was a nightmare to shoot. But the kid finished it, and the results speak for themselves.
Yes, Mr. Hooper. Counting money all your life.
All right. Hey, I don't need this.
You're Gonna Need a Bigger Boat was improvised.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Everyone knows the famous line, even people who have never seen a single second.
Ooh,
of
a famous line.
Spielberg,
You're gonna need
Peter
a
Benchley,
bigger
and Carl
boat.
Raleigh came up with it.
But that's
It
a
was
smaller
actually
thing
a
to
piece of
present than
improvisation
that,
from Roy Scheider.
huh?
Well, sort of.
Are you gonna attack it on this?
Let Hooper take a turn. Hooper drives the boat, Chief.
You see, You're Gonna Need a Bigger Boat was a running joke on the set, as the crew was frequently frustrated with the tight budget and limited resources they had to work with. As such, they kept jokingly saying you're gonna need a bigger boat whenever an issue arose. Scheider picked up on the joke and started using it in various scenes, including the famous chum sequence. Spielberg loved it, and the rest is movie history.
What do we do now? We win, right? We've got one barrel on it, so we stay out here till we find him again.
Realistic thing.
Yeah, but we can radio winning that bigger boat out here.
The crew called it flaws. Mentioned earlier, Jaws was a nightmare to film. This wasn't Spielberg's fault, but the result of a notoriously tight budget, crappy props that never and a dreadful filming location.
Man, you talk about flaws? But that's just exactly real as it's the crew!
Nightmares as things like poor weather, salt water, nearby boats, and seasickness constantly interfered with shooting.
Hey, Chief! On it, runner! Put the left hand down.
I can't. It'll only go about 3 inches.
All injectors got scored from the salt water in the fuel.
Yeah, the house is big, you can hear it.
Both the budget and production schedule quickly ballooned out
Ooh,
of
that
control,
sounds
and
realistic
cast
things
members,
about this.
particularly Richard
I
Dreyfuss and
mean,
Robert
so
Shaw,
real
were
and
constantly at each
mysterious
other's
going
throats.
on in that.
As such, The production was
Much
cleverly,
exactly like
sardonically
this on a
nicknamed
net.
Jaws by the crew. In fact, it was so bad that Spielberg thought he would never work again. Well, he was wrong.
I don't think you'll ever go in the water again after what happened yesterday.
Now don't say that.
The mechanical shark never worked properly.
It was the film's title monster, a 12-ton hydraulic shark that would become affectionately known as Bruce. That killed Spielberg and the Jaws production team with their most daunting set of complications.
But perhaps the biggest tick-off for the production crew was that the dang shark never worked properly.
Nobody
The
believes
special
the
effects
shark
team
is
built
actually
three
real.
25-foot-long pneumatic monsters to be
I'm
used throughout
mentally
production,
definitely
and
realistic
presumably
on
at great
this.
cost. Unfortunately, the
Man,
sharks
that's
were
that
not
Harley
properly
thing
tested
to
in
like
salt
going
water,
on in
which
that.
caused the mechanical parts to corrode, short-circuit, and repeatedly seize up.
Finding the footage of the building of the shark, doing all the tests dry, you know, and then getting the big surprise it doesn't work in water.
It also suffered frequent buoyancy issues and hydraulic failures, and the internal machinery was often visible, making what footage they did manage to get unusable. As such, Spielberg was forced to innovate, resulting in clever techniques like POV shots and the floating barrels to build dread and suggestion, rather than showing the shark outright. Talk about a happy accident.
Still much exactly
condition
like
of the
this
shark
one.
was the ultimate story. The shark didn't
No
work.
wonder it's
What do you
supposed to
do?
be anyways.
And your lead actor, which is this 12-ton marvel, is recalcitrant. Well, like any recalcitrant actor, you shoot around him or her.
The shark has 4 minutes of screen time.
That's a 20-footer. 25. 3 tons on him.
It's amazing how much of Jaws is spent building tension rather than showing action. And what action there is almost never involves the shark on screen. In fact, it only
pretty
appears
much
for about
insane
4
about
minutes in total, and those are often in very quick bursts.
Gotta be
So
an
in a
off
movie
topic
that
like
runs
that.
124 minutes, the shark only
I know
appears
it
in about
sounds
3% of it.
Marlin, Stingray, been through this piano wire. Don't you tell me my business again. You get back on the bridge. That doesn't prove a damn thing. Well, it proves one thing, Mr. Hooper. Proves that you wealthy college boys don't have the education enough to admit when you're wrong.
The production originally intended to show the villain much more than they did, but the aforementioned problems caused them to ditch that idea and resort to suggestion. It quickly became one of the most iconic movie monsters.
You're definitely Adventure Time or a Woman's World
cartoon. Film despite its
It doesn't
significant
matter
lack
on
of
that.
screen time. That's
I
movie
mean, you
magic right
pay
there.
look
What you
attention about
see in the
this.
finished picture is
Don't want
practically
to
every
realistic on
frame
that on
of
this.
usable footage of the shark.
The famous head scene was added later.
My mother, when I took her to see the movie in Boston, we came out of the theater and she said that Spielberg is a genius. Finally, somebody has found a use for your father's empty head.
One of the famous scenes in the movie sees Brody and Hooper coming across Ben Gardner's boat and finding the grisly remains of the fisherman. It is perhaps one of the most famous jump scares in the history of cinema. And to think, it wasn't included in the original cut of the film.
Scary and
Stephen
saying
had
about
just
this.
come from the
How
answer
very
with Verna,
scary that
Universal,
looks
and had signed
like.
off on it. And here we were on that very eve doing an extra shot that we were going to try to get in the next day.
Spielberg reportedly loved the reaction that the chum scene received from test audiences, so he wanted to include one more jump scare in the movie. So, he personally financed the reshoot and filmed the new version in editor Verna Field's backyard swimming pool. They filled the pool with milk to make the water look murky, and bam, you've got the ocean.
This is the pool where Steven Spielberg filmed the Ben Garner sequence.
Very
And that was
famous.
done right here.
Scary, scary moment.
Spielberg wasn't there for the shark's death.
Steven said, "You shoot it in the morning." Steven went to the airport, got on the airplane. He was already packed and left the island. He was ready to go.
You'd think the director would be there for the big climactic moment of his blockbuster film, but you'd be wrong. The ending
Still
of
like
Jaws
the
is
short
iconic,
time
with
about
Brody
this.
issuing his famous line and shooting the tank in the shark's
I
mouth,
know
causing
the
it to
pretty
explode
still
in a
that works
massive
on
plume
this
of blood.
anyways.
And Spielberg did not see a
Still
second of
wanted the
it.
shark
I
bite
said,
on
goodbye,
that.
I'm going back to LA. And I got into a motorboat and sped back to the mainland.
It was the final day of shooting, and he supposedly feared that the crew would play a prank on him, likely by throwing him into the ocean. To avoid that, Spielberg played hooky and didn't show up to work on the day of the explosion. The crew, after what must have been some confusion and a few desperate phone calls, simply got on with it.
Ooh,
Stephen,
that's much
I want
realistic
right
on
back to LA.
this.
And I said, so how was the last shot? You know, they blow up. He said, they're doing it right now. I said, they're doing it right now. Why aren't you there? He goes,
The color red is largely avoided.
Oh, and you hear that terrible high-pitched screaming. The ocean turns red in spite of all the pounding and
No blood.
They all come in and rip you to pieces.
Spielberg has always been a very visual storyteller, and that comes through in both obvious and subtle ways. For example, have you ever noticed that
Oh,
Jaws has
you
a
ever tried
significant
this
lack of
bigger
red
boat
hue?
this time?
Yep. Spielberg reportedly asked the art department to avoid the
Not
color
the
red in
very
both the set
insane of
design
this
and the
commercial,
costumes.
you know?
And going through the movie, this becomes
But
quite
I've
apparent.
never heard of commercials,
Apparently
but
it's
stay
very
tuned
light.
for more
Characters
videos.
wear a lot of beige, green, and blue,
That's
and
much
the beaches
Danny
are
thinks it
little
is.
beaches. The only major source of red in the movie is the blood, an intentional design choice by Spielberg meant to
bloody.
elevate the horror of the shark attack sequences.
I get it! You gotta be quiet, my sweetheart.
The Indianapolis speech was reshot.
So that's the USS Indianapolis.
If there's one man who upstages the shark, it's Robert Shaw, who gives an all-time performance as Quint. His Indianapolis speech is movie
That's
legend,
still the
but what we see
mysterious
in the
thing
film
about that
wasn't
part,
the first
huh?
time that Shaw performed it.
But I know
Shaw
it's
had
a
a
very
problem with
particular
alcohol
thing.
and was frequently drinking on set. And when it came to his
man,
Indianapolis
you missed
speech,
the
he
shark,
convinced Spielberg to do it when he was
bystander for
actually
these
drunk.
guy picks like this.
Away.
I mean, we're not gonna retire that big. It's gonna be retiring the shark bystander, but you get this straight about this. I'll be back as soon as possible. It is. That's how much history it
But
is.
according to the director, the results were an absolute mess and he cut before the speech was finished. When the effects of the alcohol wore off,
Hey, miss.
Shaw personally called Spielberg
Sir
to apologize.
Huntington.
Spielberg said they would do it again. So Shaw came in early the next morning, completely sober, and nailed the speech in 4 takes.
So 1,100 men went in the war. 316 men come out. The Sharks took the rest June 29th, 1945.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Spielberg thought John Williams' score was a joke.
The Jaws theme was so provocative and symbolic of the shark that he saved us, really, because
This
so many times
movie's
we didn't have
outrageous
the
on
shark.
that.
All we had to do was point the
I
camera
like
out
that
to
one on
sea
this.
and play his score, and everybody screamed.
You all know it. Da-dum, 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 da-dum. It's so simple, but so effective. When John Williams first presented this piece of music to Spielberg, he reportedly laughed in Williams' face, believing that it was a prank. He understandably expected something more elaborate or traditionally dramatic, not 2 repeating notes on a piano.
That's a good summing.
But Williams explained that the repetitive and primal simplicity of the theme was completely intentional, meant to represent the relentless nature of a hungry shark.
And half the film, you don't see the shark. You don't have to. You hear that theme, and it puts it, oh my God, he's out there somewhere, and he's going to get somebody.
Spielberg quickly came around, and the score was recorded by tuba player Tommy Johnson. It won Williams the Oscar, and it quickly became synonymous with approaching danger. It is still being parodied and referenced decades later. Spielberg, what does he know?
I just think it was the most brilliant couple of notes that he's ever written because it's lived beyond the movie. And it's become the thing that kids do with each other when they're playing in the pool. You can always creep up on somebody and go da-da, da-da. And in the post-Jaws world, it means something.
Well, anyways, see you on the next video.
Well, that's all, folks. Good night. Thanks for watching.
Get lost!
Well, TTWRT.